The word I used to avoid. A few years ago, whenever I heard the word feminism, I used to avoid it. I didn't really know why. Whenever that word came up, the mood suddenly changed and people's faces became stiff. On the internet and social media, feminism and feminists were the target of mockery and criticism. So, without really knowing what feminism is, I only grew more negative toward the word itself. Most of you probably know the book Kim Ji-young, born 1982, and the controversy around it. I'd never read the book, and I didn't even know what it was about. When I saw celebrities being criticized online just for saying they had read it, I thought it must be a bad book with harmful content. I judged it without even trying to understand. When I was a senior in high school, I applied to 3 women's universities. A friend asked me, "Are you a feminist?" At that time, I didn't even know what feminism or feminists really meant, so I quickly said, "No, I'm not." Back then, I misunderstood feminism without knowing anything about it. What I saw and heard in the media was only men versus women, fights, and hatred. So I thought feminism had nothing to do with me. Now, I realized that was ignorance. When I entered a women's university, my thoughts slowly began to change. Before I came here, I heard people say things like, women's universities are full of extreme ideas or there can tension among the students. But in reality, I couldn't find any of those frames anywhere. Instead, I saw students with different opinions, learning together, talking together, and helping each other. That's when I started asking myself, why should being feminine be a standard to women? Why do so many people have prejudice just because it's a women's university? I also began to learn about instances I had unconsciously avoided. The Gangnam Station murder, digital sex crimes, the Me Too movements. They weren't just stories on the news. They were parts of the society we face almost every day. Only then that I started to wonder, what really is feminism and why do we need feminism? I started watching YouTube videos and lectures about feminism, and I bought and read the book Kim Ji-young, born 1982. To my surprise, the hatred toward men and the extreme criticism people talked about didn't exist in the book at all. Through the class, I realized that feminism is much deeper and broader than I had thought. The first wave began in the 19th century with women's suffrage. The second wave dealt with issues like sexual violence and abortion. The third wave discussed gender and sexual diversity, and the fourth wave raised voices through social media and online spaces. I found it both sad and interesting that Korean feminism takes the form of the fourth wave, but still deals with the content from the second. It's strange that a country so fast in technology and development can be so slow in understanding equality. I thought it might have influenced many people to misunderstand feminism. I also learned that there are many types of feminism. Liberal feminism, which seeks equal opportunities through laws and systems. Standpoint feminism, which starts from women's own experiences. Post-structural feminism, which analyzes language and power. Post-colonial feminism, which critiques Western-centered view of liberation. Radical feminism, which sees patriarchy as a cause and aims to dismantle the system. Marxist feminism, which pursues liberation through changing the capitalist economic structure. During the class, we raised our hands to show which type of feminism we supported the most. Even though we're all students at the same university and all women, each person chose something different. And to me, it was really interesting. Through discussions, sharing our thoughts and experiences, I realized that the feminism I had known was only a small part of something much bigger. What I learned is that feminism is not only about women. It's about building a society where no one has to stay silent. Korea has developed quickly, but social awareness hasn't followed at the same pace. The gender pay gap still exists, a low birth rate is still seen as a women's responsibility. And in online, hate and ridicule spread too easily, and people are used to judging others instead of trying to understand them. In this reality, I think feminism can be a lens, a way to see who suffers from inequality and why. Through that lens, we can also see what kind of society we should build together. The direction of change that Korea needs through feminism is not something grand or dramatic. It starts with small things, trying to understand one another, respecting different experiences, and having the courage not to ignore unfairness. Korean society can no longer be divided by gender. Now, both men and women must listen to each other and find ways to live together. So I hope that in the future, Korean society will not turn away from feminism, a society that does not ignore someone's pain, and where no one's voice is silenced. Through the word I used to avoid, I have come to understand, just a little more clearly, the kind of world we should create together.